Are these Atom Audio D3Vs the ultimate studio monitor for on the road? That's what we're going to find out in today's video. I'm on a road trip to Spain and I'm trying these D3Vs and the H200s by Atom Audio. Whenever I'm traveling, I do a lot of mixing work on my headphones. And that's great, but sometimes you just want to have a set of monitors with you for when you're collaborating or for when you want to go party mode. I'm not really a fan of putting the ATC SEM25s in the trunk of my car and drive them all the way to Spain. So I needed to find an alternative that was small, lightweight, but most of all sounded good. So without ever having listened to them, I got the D3Vs, I drove 2,000 kilometers to Spain, and now I can finally try them out and see if they sound good enough for what I need or if they're going in the bin. Before I have a listen and share my thoughts with you, let's first look at them and see what features they've got. So this is the box they come in, and here is what's inside of that box. So you've got the two monitors. One is the main monitor and one is the slave monitor. So this has all the connectivity and functions, and that just has one input for power and audio. Then you've got the power cable, you've got a USB cable, you've got the connector cable between these two rubber feet that you can put underneath these, and you've got these pads that you can slide in so you can tilt them up. Before I continue this video, I want you to know that Atom Audio has sent me over these monitors and headphones to keep. So it is sponsored by Atom Audio, but I do want you to know that I am still making an independent video and I am sharing my opinion with you without them having any say in what I'm including or not including in this video. Just wanted you to know that, and I really wanted to make a shot with the camera inside a fridge. I don't know why, but it just feels like the vlog thing to do. The monitors themselves have a 3.5-inch woofer and a 1.5-inch ribbon tweeter that Atom Audio is kind of known for. These things on the side are passive radiators, so yes, they do enhance the low end and the power output of the monitor, but they are not subwoofers. You've got one master unit which is labeled left loudspeaker, so by default that is going to be your left monitor, and the other one is called right loudspeaker, so that will be on the right over here. Then we've got this cable with the 4 pins to connect the main monitor to the second monitor, like that. Then of course we need some power. Super easy, just a power brick, nothing special. Then over here you can see a digital audio input, and with this USB-C cable you can very easily plug that in to your computer. Oh, and don't worry, if you don't have any more USB-C slots left, you get this USB-C to USB-A adapter for free. On the front of the main monitor you see a headphone jack, which means that the H200s or any other headphone plug straight in, which I think is a super cool feature because now you don't have to plug in your headphone directly into your computer and switch your playback device in your DAW. Oh, and by the way, as soon as you plug in your headphone jack, it mutes the monitor, and this control now controls the volume of your headphone. Just make sure that when you've got it loud, you don't plug it out, because that happens. Honestly, I like these a lot. They're small, they're light, they've got good pads on them that isolate really well, which is very nice when you're traveling and you don't know what situation you're going to run into, and it is nice to have something that blocks out the outside noise. But I could also see them work really well in a recording session where you're battling headphone bleed, and I think these would do a pretty good job at keeping that away from the mic. Design-wise, there's two things that could have been nice if it folded away, because they're so compact and light. If this just folded in and that folded in, it would have just been a little bit easier to carry with you on the road. So they do have a detachable cable, which is nice because we all know that even though they made this out of Kevlar or carbon fiber, this is still going to break. And I have to say, it is in firmly enough, but I do wish they had some kind of locking mechanism. That definitely, artists that are swinging their hands around would never yank out the cable. So I've done some listening. I always use my mix reference playlist. I'll link that down below in the description as well if you want to take a look at that. And sonically, I really think these are good headphones. Now, they do pack a little bit of a punch in the low end, maybe a tiny bit too much, but that's usually what you get with a closed back headphone. The high end is detailed, not too bright, but still revealing what is sharp and what is bright. So for headphones for on the road, I think these are pretty solid. If you don't want to go the USB route, on the back of the master unit, you also find two balanced inputs. So you can use two TRS cables that look like that, and they can go to the monitor output of your interface, which is a really nice addition. But do note that then you go through the digital to analog converters of your interface and through the analog to digital converters on the D3Vs. So I do feel that if you're not recording, the USB-C option is the better choice. Okay, then let's have a listen to how these things sound. Why am I not getting any output? Okay, so that has to do with the light over here. That indicates a couple of things. So right now it is solid green, and that means it's powered on and can reproduce audio from analog inputs. But we don't have anything connected to the analog inputs, so we need to switch it over. If you press twice, you can change the input from analog to USB. Turn down the volume, press twice. See? Blue, cyan. Okay, so when it's cyan, it can reproduce audio from the digital input via USB-C. So now if I play something, we get sound. What else does this do? So when it flashes red, the limiter is active. So there's an active limiter inside of this unit that prevents them from you blowing them up. Because yes, we all know you're going to. I think one press is muted. Yes. And then we've got flashing orange. Oh, that's nice. Actually, if you have it on mute and you turn the volume knob, it unmutes by itself. And then the last thing this knob can do is if you press it 3 times, then it flashes orange 3 times, and then it means that the channels have swapped. So if for any reason you can only put the left main speaker on the right side because that is where your interface is and the cabling makes sense there, or that is closer to your laptop or power or whatever, you can say, okay, I need to swap these around but still have the left signal coming from what they call the right speaker and then the right signal coming from what they call the left speaker. That is really handy. So right now these speakers are just on the tabletop like that. What you may know from speaker placement is that you want the tweeter to be ear level. Well, that's not really the case. This is more nipple level, but they have included these handy little pads so we can slide those under the monitor. And then if I put it where it should be, I think that is shooting for my ear. Another option I was pleasantly surprised by is the ability to screw them onto a mic stand. Sometimes you're dealing with limited space on your desk or you don't want to get monitor stands involved, and then if you can put them up to ear height with just regular microphone stands, I think that's really nice. And then additionally, you've got these switches over here. Now, let's have a look in the manual because it's a little bit easier to see over here. So it looks like these switches are some kind of EQ presets tailoring the monitor to where you put them in the room. So if you're putting them on a stand or near the wall or near a corner, you can probably filter the low end in a certain way that it optimizes it for that position. The second switch deals with desk reflection because when you put monitors on or near a desk, there's going to be a reflection from the desk, usually in the low mids, and you may want to cut that out. So they've got 3 settings for that if you don't have a desk, if you have a small desk, or if you have a large desk. And the third switch is one that might come in really handy over here because we are not in a treated room. And that's exactly what that switch is for. So you can choose between a treated room, a moderately treated room, or like this room, an untreated room. Okay, then it is time for me to have a listen to these monitors, and then in a minute I'll come back to you with a verdict on how they actually perform. What I can tell is that these, for this price, in this size, this portable, I am very, very, very impressed by how they sound as well, because you get full range. There's plenty of low end in these things, and I definitely think that the passive radiators help them get that low end across. There's plenty of level on them. The mids and highs are detailed enough for me to notice what I could have done better in my own mixes, and also what is nice and what's not that great in the reference tracks that I've used. So obviously they are not an $8,000 pair of ATC SEM25s like I've got in my home studio, but for on the road, stuff that just fits in a backpack basically, I think I will be taking these on every trip I do, and I might even consider putting them on top of the ATCs as a second set of monitors, because I feel they could be a really cool contrast to those. If you want to pick up a pair of Adam Audio D3Vs for yourself after seeing this amazing video, there's an affiliate link down below in the description that you can use to pick up a pair. So if you want to support the channel so I can make more of these videos, and you've already subscribed to the channel and left a like, the next thing you can do is buy something with the affiliate link, and then a little bit of a kickback comes back to me, and I can free up some time in my day to make videos for you. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next video. Later.